Broadcasting live on ABS-CBN Channel 2. ABS-CBN Sports brings you Game 1 of the Finals. The FEU Tamaraws versus the Ateneo Blue Eagles in Season 73 of your UAAP.
Ang sarap ng pakiramdam.
5 years of waiting. A 20th title for the taking.
Oh! Romeo is on fire!
Walang tatalo sa samahan.
Sana! That's a big three!
I just get goosebumps.
4 straight trips to the finals. Will a third straight crown be in the annals?
Going to Kurt Long. Long puts it up. Yes! Unbelievable! When I salute the crowd after a big play.
The lead is 14 as Salamat gets it to go. After the elimination round dust has settled and the Final Four scare is over, two protagonists have emerged to duke it out in this best-of-3 matchup live from the fully packed Araneta Coliseum on this rainy Saturday afternoon. This is the finals of Season 73 of your UAAP. And we have, of course, the #1 ranked team in the league. The Far Eastern University Tamaraws finished at 12-2 in the standings, taking on the back-to-back defending champions with a 10-4 card, the Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles. Courtesy of ABS-CBN Sports, we are live today on ABS-CBN Channel 2 and of course in high definition on Balls HD Channel 167. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Eric Depan po, kasama si TJ Manoto.
Good afternoon, Eric, and let me take this opportunity to say this. Magandang hapon po, mga kapamilya. Welcome po. The whole Philippines will be watching us today as this blockbuster matchup is about to get underway.
All right, folks. Tingnan po natin yung road papunta sa finals between these two teams. For FEU, it was an easier sort of a run towards the finals. They dominated clearly the pack 12-2 at the end of eliminations, while Ateneo lost 4 out of 14 games.
Exactly. If you look at the win-loss record, Ateneo had a bit of a harder time with 10-4. They had some tough losses. They were even threatened to go below the top 2 slots and maybe not even come into the Final Four with a twice-a-beat advantage, but they did just that. They had a big win against Adamson, which might even be a bigger win if you compare it to the tough win of FEU. Final score was big, but that game went into overtime for FEU. It was a tough game for FEU because they battled it out against LaSalle this year. Their first round match was a tough win in double overtime. Their second round match they lost, but this one they won in overtime. So if you look at this, you compare it, it might be a better bit of a confidence booster for Ateneo, something they really might need because they're going up against a team like FEU, which they lost to twice.
Now coming into this Game 1 po ng finals, I think it favors FEU since they beat Ateneo twice in the elimination round. Let's revisit the first meeting between these two teams. It was a close one, a 3-point win for FEU against Ateneo.
And remember, Eric, this was the first game. Unang laban po ito ng parehong pupunan sa Season 73. First time we saw them in the UAP, some new players for each team, new leaders had to come to the fore, and what a statement game that was for this new leader of the Tamaraws. R.R. Garcia took charge, he took control, he poured in 25 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and poured in the big baskets when it mattered. On the other end of the extreme, it was also the opportunity of Ateneo for them to show, hey, we lost Aluseni, we lost Baclao, we lost Sai Reyes. Who's our new leader now? It did not quite didn't emerge in that first encounter against FEU, and they fell short, and FEU came away with that win.
Now, of course, R.R. Garcia getting better and better each game. One of the guys that Ateneo has to watch out for coming into this game 1 of this best-of-3 finals. Now, tingnan naman po natin yung game 2. It was a slimmer win for FEU. Just a 2-point win at the end against Ateneo in the second round of eliminations.
But what surprised them was this kid, Eric, the rookie, Terrence Romeo. We heard about him scoring buckets of points in their juniors. He even had a record of about 80-something points in juniors last year. But it's never a guarantee that you go up to the seniors and always do exceptionally well. But this kid is an exception this year. He poured it on. He's averaged 8 points a ball game. But against Ateneo in their last game of the elimination round, a very crucial game, he came up huge with 15 points and 10 rebounds. Double-double performance for the little guy. And it was a statement game for him too, that he is not afraid to mix it up with the big guys in the UAAP, and also a big confidence booster for him going into the Final Four.
So right now, it's very easy to see that there are players emerging in each and every game for FEU para po sila tulungan manalo. Now, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll focus on the keys to winning for FEU and Ateneo respectively. Welcome back to our coverage of Game 1 of this best-of-3 finals. Dito po sa ABS-CBN Channel 2 and, of course, on Balls HD Channel 167. Eric Depan with DJ Manotok. Now, let's talk about the keys to winning para sa FEU. They've been looking for their first championship since 2005.
Well, you know, consistency is the name of the game for FEU, Eric. Last year, FEU came so close, but they collapsed in the latter part of the season. So these 3 categories we're looking at for FEU, these are the things they need to be consistent with in this series if they want to bring it all home. First of all, they've got a great triple threat from the outside. They have been shooting well from beyond the arc the whole season and have stepped it up even against Ateneo. Their scorers are the best scorers in the league. They're averaging in the top in terms of scorers, starters scoring. And of course, ball control, something that FEU has amazed a lot of people with in terms of limiting the number of turnovers. Now let's get specific. Triple threat, look at the numbers. They're second B in the league from beyond the arc, 33.7%. But against Ateneo, they have found a way to step it up, shooting 44% from beyond the arc. I think this also is because of Ateneo giving a lot of importance to defending the big men of FEU, to defending the driving opportunities of FEU. So FEU has found a way to drive and kick out and get those open shots for their guards. Secondly, starter scoring. You cannot, it's going to be tough to match up with the starting 5 of FEU. I mean, with the way these guys can score, other starting 5s, they're very talented, they're very effective, but you see some components, maybe 1 or 2 guys as a defensive specialist. But in FEU, every single guy who starts can score that basketball, and they have been. That's why they're number 1 in starter scoring, and they've been consistent with that in their 2 games against Ateneo. Ball control, guys like Jens Nutel, R.R. Garcia, and even the rookie Terrence Romeo continue to amaze everybody with the way they've been able to control the tempo of the game the way Coach Glenn wants it, to limit their turnovers to only 13.9 a ball game. Although, against Ateneo, tumataas ng konti. They're averaging 17 turnovers a ball game against the Blue Eagles. But regardless, that's still a great statistic. R.R. Garcia himself, he only averaged about 2 turnovers a ball game with the amount of time that he has that ball. So those are 3 very critical things for FEU. If they're consistent with that and do it very well, they have a great shot of winning.
So basing it on what you're saying, TJ, FEU seems to shoot better pagkalaban Ateneo, but at the same time, they throw the ball away a lot more.
A little bit more, yep.
All right, let's take a look at Ateneo's keys to winning against FEU. They're shooting for a back-to-back-to-back championship this season.
Ateneo, as always, Coach Ronald Black has been saying this, and he has been proving it with his boys on the court. Defense wins ball games for them. Secondly, he's always wanted to be the best running team in the league, and they still are. They love to run, and they love to finish quick on the break. And the strong finish is critical for them. They have not proven this very well this year, and this is something that we'll get into in detail. First of all, of course, their defense, they're number 1 in the league, Eric, only allowing 62.4 points a ball game in their wins. But in their losses, though, 69 points per ball game, and against FEU, they have averaged giving them up 73 points per ball game. So quite far from their average, about 11 points or 9.6 points in that spread. And this is something that I'm sure Coach Norman Black wants to address. An ideal target would be probably holding them below 70 points in a ball game in this series. running the break, you know these guys can run. And one thing that helps fuel the runs, Eric, is aside from getting steals and forcing their opponent to turnovers, is the defensive rebounds and quickly looking ahead. If you remember the last 2 years of the championship years with Rapa Alusaini and Nonoy Baclao, when they get that rebound, they would look straight ahead and throw that ball straight up and try to get the quickest fast break that they can. They're very aggressive in that aspect, and they have been continuing to do that. Now, the problem for Ateneo, one thing that they have to really prove to everybody, to the whole UAP, they can finish strong in close games against big teams. They are only 3-4 in close games that have been decided by 4 points or less. And I'll even argue the statistic that it's probably even 2-5. Why? Because they won one game with a close margin on the free throw line, with Montfort winning against Adamson with 6 straight free throws. So only 2 of those ball games that they had great execution on the floor, and someone came up big and made big baskets.
I know you're excited. The crowd here inside the Big Dome is excited. We have the tip-off of Game 1 coming up next.
Thousands in attendance here at the Big Dome, the Araneta Coliseum, and to the millions more watching live on Balls HD Channel 167, RJ 810, and for the first time ever on ABS-CBN Channel 2, with replays on Balls Channel 34 and TFC Global Worldwide. We welcome you to game number 1 of the best of 3 series for your season 73 of the UAAP, the finals. First, let's meet the starters for the number 1 team in the elimination since day number 1. Here are last year's UAAP hosts, the FEU Tamaraws. At forward number 15, J.R. Kalmanig. Power forward number 20, the real deal, Rail Cervantes. Center number 21, Keep the Power, Nandu. And off guard number 7, Terrence Romeo. And at point guard number 8, R.R. Garcia. Head coach of the Tamaraws, Glenn Capacio. And now, here's the starters for the reigning, defending, back-to-back senior champion, and next year's UAAP hosts, the Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles. At shooting forward number 13, Ryan Buenafe. Power forward number 21, Frank Golia. At center number 18, Justin Shua.
Coach Glenn Capacio has gone all out today as he's put in the rookie Romeo, R. Garcia, and Kawaling, plus Noondu, who only starts 7 out of the 14 times in the elimination round, starts today.
And Terrence Romeo, this is only going to be his second start the whole season. Only one game Romeo started in this season. All other 14 games that he has played, he has come off the bench to average 19 minutes a ball game and pour in 8 points a ball game for his team. What a big confidence boost this is for the kid, and a sign of confidence that Coach Glenn Capacio has on him to really start this ball game.
For Ateneo, DJ, Coach Robert Black, nilagay na rin lahat ng pinakamalalaki niya. We have Golia at power forward, and you have Justin Chua at center. So it's a very tall lineup as well para sa Ateneo as they look to defend their championship against FEU.
Well, that's one thing, Eric, we were not even able to touch on in the start of the ball game in the pregame. You may have individual guys averaging better numbers like the starters of FEU. They may have the better record in the elimination round, but Ateneo has more players who have this special thing called championship experience.
Tulad nga nasabi namin, since 2005, hindi pa po nananalo ang FEU FEU, their last championship was under now assistant coach Bert Flores.
That's right. Ganun kagutom ang Tamaraos. They wanted it badly last year. They really targeted last year was when the year na hihinug yung core na ito, no? This core of players that they have, the batch of Kawaling, Cervantes, Ramos, and all of them. They were really ready to beat prime and right last year. But unfortunate things happened. They didn't even make the finals. They lost to you. But look at Ateneo now. A good start with 2 good plays on execution.
The second play was Buenafe getting on the pick and roll with Golia, and Golia with a free shot inside the paint. Kawaling off to a good start, DJ, after averaging 4.5 points a game. In their last game, got ejected against LaSalle. He's looking to be aggressive here today.
Look at that. The first 2 plays of FEU, the first 2 times Kawaling touches the ball, sumusugod against the basket. He looks to score today.
And here's our McCormick hot matchup of the day. McCormick Buffalo Wings Seasoning Mix. The hottest thing to happen to chicken.
Well, as everybody already knows and understands and feels, R.R. Garcia, the soon-to-be crowned MVP of the league, and Eric Salamat, one of the leaders, and I stress on that point, one of the leaders of Ateneo. He has not been the consistent leader for them yet. Numbers-wise, he is their #1 scorer, but they are looking for him to really come up big here in the finals.
Salamat, as much as he is the scoring leader for Ateneo, he also is the assist leader for the Blue Eagles, averaging 4.2 assists per game.
That's helpful. I mean, he's not pouring in as many points as their previous leaders like, Chris Chu or Aluzaini, but at least he is setting up his teammates for easy baskets.
Kawaling missed 2 at the line. Ateneo losing the leather here, and the rookie Romeo looking to attack, dishing to Garcia. The floater is short. Medyo may konting kababa. For the first time finalist, R.R. Garcia. Buenafe on the other side, denied by Sanga. Let's go to the Samson Courtside Update. Turn on tomorrow with Jessica Mendoza.
Eric, according to Coach Norman Black, the best way to deal with FEU today is to individually guard well against what he calls their very balanced offense. He admitted that their picks are dangerous and that R.R. Garcia is a problem. But he added that the Blue Eagles have worked hard this past week in order to limit the productivity of the Tamaraos. Now with Jason Escueta unable to play today, Justin Chua and Grant Collier are expected to step up their game. Justin shared that he's been visualizing what he needs to do better today. He said, inisip ko talaga yung mga kailangan kong idagdag at bawasan. Hindi ako pwedeng mapunta sa foul trouble like last game kasi wala si Jason para sumalo sa akin. Eric and PJ?
All right, thanks, Jessica.
Well, that's a critical thing. As aggressive as Chua would want to be on both ends of the floor, he's going to have to watch his fouls because another big guy, Escueta, is not here today.
And yung pick and roll with Golia and Buenafe. PS Bank maasahan assist. Sobrang bilis na, may prime rebate pa.
And if you look right now, the defense of FEU, Eric, nag-adjust na sila. Nag-2-3 zone na ngayon si Coach Ben Capasio to try and limit the incursions of Ateneo because their first 2 points have been right at the front of the goal.
You really have to credit the big guys of Ateneo. They know how to set their screens and slide when the timing is right. Let's go to the Samson Courtside Update. Turn on tomorrow with Steph C.
This moment is a feat which made Coach Len really happy and at the same time very proud of his boys. After their conquest over LaSalle, the Tamaraos hope to duplicate the events of 2005 by winning the championship. And since Ateneo has yet to beat FEU this season, Coach Len knows that Tamaraos want to emerge the Blue Eagles are very hungry to emerge victorious. That's why the Tamaraos will continue to keep their guard up by staying focused and playing fearless basketball. A while ago in the dugout, FEU had a special guest. Johnny Abarrientos was there to drop by and share his experiences. He told the guys that the UAAP was very memorable, so they should enjoy the moment and have that nothing to lose attitude. Sabi nga niya sa team, masarap manalo at masarap talunin ng Ateneo dahil kalaban nyo rin yung buong Araneta. Eric and TJ.
All right, thanks, Steph. Indeed, I saw Johnny A, the flying.
I saw him too.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for the players.
Definitely.
That's an inspirational boost for them. One of the best players ever in the Philippines paying a visit to inspire you.
Speaking of best players, R.R. Garcia not getting his rhythm early in this game. He has missed 2 shots, the second one terribly. And after a quick start, both teams have kind of cooled down, DJ.
Well, the defenses have stepped up. The defense of both squads have adjusted respectively. Look at that big block by the only graduating senior actually in FEU, this Paul Sanga.
Speaking of defense, Rex Zonamen shot block. New Rex Zonamen unbeatable defense against Sweat. Sanga inserted for Kawaling early in the game.
Salva in the ballgame now also for the Eagles.
Salva averages 5.7 rebounds a game. Chua underneath, gets the basket and the foul.
Beautiful move, much better move than he did the last play where he was wide open underneath from a nice pass by Benefit, but he rushed the layup this time around, taking his time, sizing up the defense, faking Cervantes off with the foul and the basket.
Strong arms by Chua. Fouled on our Alaksan FR Araigog Galingko shot of the game. Alaksan FR Araigog Galingko. Chua very steady on the line, completes the three-point play. Ateneo ahead by 5-7-2. Ito po sa first quarter. 4 minutes already gone by. Romeo with the leather guarded by Long. Oh, what a sneaky play by the rookie.
Allowing his defender to sleep. He may be a rookie, but he does not look like one today.
Timeout from Samson. Turn on tomorrow. Magandang hapon po sa mga ABS-CBN Channel 2 viewers. In case you just turned on your TV sets, ito na po ang first time coverage ng ABS-CBN Channel 2 ng finals ng UAAP.
And we'll be back here on Channel 2 if we go to a third deciding game. Game 2, by the way, will be on Thursday, and that'll be live on Studio 23. But if the series stretches to 3 games, you'll see us again next Saturday here on Channel 2.
Garcia 0 for 2 from the field. Sana fires and misses from the outside. Longest running. Ateneo looking for that three-point point. Yes!
Kurt Long! Short today, and when I say that, short hair, much shorter hair. Nakakapanibago, but a gorgeous move by Kurt Long.
Left everybody feeling his dust. Enervon Steady Energy for the UAAP. Have steady energy with Enervon multivitamins. More energy, mas happy ingesting Chua with a good start today. 3 points for him. Here's our Solmix Insta-Cool play. High performance of the quarter. Solmix 2-tap with Insta-Cool top relief. The rookie Romeo getting the better of the veteran and great defender Kurt Long.
Nice. You know, nice vision there of the floor by Nico the one thing. Talagang sinukatan niya si Justin Chua. He knew he could take Justin Chua off the dribble.
Salva looking to score. The leader for Salva doesn't go. Ball will go to FEU. Here's our Cornetto fast break. Sarap yung fast break na yun. Parang select ng Cornetto. Sarap ng 20. Kurt Long with his first basket of the game. Here is our Powerade hyper play of the quarter. Get back on defense. Push the ball on offense. Step up the game with Powerade. Rondu looking to get his first or second basket of the game. Salamat, the number 1 defender in the league in terms of steals, takes it away. Kurt Long is fouled on the break.
We talked about this at the beginning of our commentary. How Ateneo is the number 1 team in fast break points. Why? Because once they get that ball off a rebound or off a steal, they're looking straight ahead in case somebody breaks away, and Kurt Long very often is ahead of the pack.
Clear man precision stop right there by Eric Salamat. Clear anti-dandruff shampoo's high precision stop of the game. JP Era was in the ballgame for the first time.
Eric Salamat, not the best in steals for nothing.
Yes.
Do not dribble low, or dribble high rather, with his hands down low, trying to slide that away from you.
Oh, there are former Ateneans right there.
And all of whom had a taste of a championship.
Yes. Averaging 2 steals, a little under 2 steals a game is Eric Salamat. Kurt Long, 1 for 2 from the line. And again, Salamat he does completely take it away.
Well, he forced the turnover. It was not a steal in terms of the category of the statistic, but forcing that ball off the leg of Jens Nudel, getting that one to go back to them.
4-point game, 10-6 in favor of Ateneo. Salamat posting up on Garcia. What a move!
Look at that. This is the great adjustment of Coach Roman back this year, Eric. He lost one of the best post players Ateneo's had in the last few years, Rafa Aluseni. So wala na silang post game with a big man. What they've done is post their guards or their forwards who have mismatches like Salamat or Ryan Buenafit.
And what's very surprising, DJ, you don't see Salamat post up players very often.
Right, but if he does have that mismatch, Coach Roman likes to take advantage.
Oh, that's denied. Sana is denied. 24-second shot clock violation. Absolute
Martinez with the two big blocks of Eram, who has hardly seen action this year because of the great play of Chua, and Escueta, who is suspended for today.
Speaking of great plays, Yakisobra Bupay Salamat brought to you by Nissin Yakisoba. Nissin Yakisobrang sarap. Two blocks back-to-back by Eram. Red zone event shot block. New red zone event and beatable defense against Suet. Long fakes. Dishes. Salamat from the outside. Short. They're looking for an open Tamarao.
But nothing going. Ateneo doing a good job in terms of transition defense on the last play.
Ringas waving everybody away for isolation. Gives it up to Sama. Open from 15. Ramos trying to tip it in twice. And Salva takes it away. Salva on the break. Salva is foul.
You can really see Ateneo with the goal signal to be very aggressive on every single play. Even if it's a semi-fast break like in that instance, if you have the numbers, Coach Trevor Black is telling them to go for the kill.
Ateneo 12-6 over FEU. Timer from Samsung. Turn on tomorrow. Nico Salva coming off the bench for Ateneo today gets the first of 2 free throws. And it's a brand spanking new 5 on the floor for the Blue Eagles, DJ.
That's right. You don't see a single starter on the floor anymore. You got Salamat, Austria, Eram, Gonzaga, who came in during the break, and Nico Salva now playing 2-3 zone defense.
And it's a very surprising ploy by Northern Black, who usually uses the same rotation each and every game.
This is not his usual rotation. We're not used to seeing him with a completely new 5 after the first 7 minutes of the ball game.
But it's working so far, DJ. The first double-digit lead of the game, 16-6 in favor of the Blue Eagles. Sana is 0 for 2 from the outside. Ateneo running against Salamat. Finishes on the break.
Well, they're not the #1 team in fast break points, averaging 12 a ball game for nothing. Look at how disciplined Ateneo is on their defensive end. If the ball bounces on the left side, everybody on the right side is running down the court already because they know they can't get the defensive rebound anyways. They're the ones going to be ahead for the fast break.
AFC Sandbox hardcore man of the game. Hot shot for the West School to get leaders at 3 AFC chicken meals. Cornetto begotten, or make that Greenwich begotten in the ball game para new Greenwich begotten pizza.
Wow. Look at Eram. Look at Eram, Eric. 4 points, 2 big blocks, quality minutes right now for the guy who at the beginning of the season, Coach Rama told me, you might even see a little bit of Nonoy Baclao with this kid.
JP Eram, season high, 2 points, already has 4 today, DJ. And FEU is coming undone very early in this game.
Wow.
Getting into the scoring picture, Tornillo going solid.
Wow, you just gotta say wow, Eric. 22-6, and a bunch of those, I'd say what, easily 10 points off the fast break for the Blue Eagles.
And right behind us is the Ateneo crowd, and you will have a reason to notice that we are screaming already because Ateneo just can't stop cheering while FEU on their seats. Austria on the break, and another fast break going right for the Blue Eagles.
This is insane. Running at will, and they are just running the Tamarows to the ground.
One basket after another as Ateneo erects a 24-6 lead over FEU. We have a timeout brought to you by Samsung. Turn on tomorrow. 50% of the Araneta Coliseum has fallen silent as the FEU crowd is stunned. Early here in this game 1, 24-6 in favor of Ateneo.
Ateneo is shooting 62.5% from the field, and thanks to 9 fast break points, 5 attempts at the fast break, they've scored 9 points off of those. Bench scoring likewise has been to the advantage of Ateneo, 14-0.
Counting down the seconds remaining here in the first quarter. 9 to shoot for FEU. Cervantes is fouled. He has PS Bank strong power move. Sobrang bilis na. May prime rebate pa. PS Bank home loan. Eram has contributed defensively and offensively for Ateneo. Here's our hoop it up play. Hoop it up, we play your game.
Even off the bench, a rare player who rarely gets minutes, Tonito Gonzaga with a tough shot in the face of Exiliano. You know, they have had their fast breaks, Eric, and you gotta give credit to Ateneo because they're even hitting the tough shots in the fast break. Not all of them were uncontested. Some of them had really major challenges in their face, but still getting those 2 points.
Cervantes, much needed. 2 points via the free throw line. Salamat with 5 seconds. Austria from outside.
Beating the buzzer.
Right in the nick of time. Everything ticking and falling in place for Ateneo.
Well, to be official, the referees will follow the rules. They're going to review this on their private screens, on their monitors, to make sure that this shot counts. We're looking at it right now. We'll see if Austria gets the ball off his hands before the red lights go on.
Well before.
The ball was even near the rim when the red lights went off. So what a way to cap off an incredible first quarter for the defending champions.
There's the final score at the end of one quarter, 26-2. The back-to-back defending champions establishing what is the biggest lead of the ball game at 18 points, 26-8 against the league-leading FEU Tamaraos. Awali, the guy who got the first basket, is in the ball game. Here in the second quarter, gets denied again. Third block for Eram. Austria from the outside.
Well, Eram is a blessing in disguise for Ateneo. Even though they don't have his cuenta today, he has fielded great.
Let's go ahead and listen in to Jessica Mendoza.
Eric, the Blue Eagles are pumped, and the coaches commended them for their intensity in pushing the ball in the first quarter. They were also told to keep up the good work and to continue boxing out. More importantly, they were told to keep their heads in the game despite the early lead. Eric Salamat even said, "Wag niyong pansinin yung score, 0-0 pa rin yan." Now, you mentioned Kirk's hair, TJ. It turns out that it changes whenever his sister is in town. She apparently is taking up hairstyling abroad and likes to do her family's hair. Eric and TJ?
Wow.
At least libre pagupit. All right.
Thanks for that Samsung courtside update, Jessica. Romeo from the outside.
You know, the last 4-5 plays down court, Eram has been a factor defensively for Ateneo, either coloring the defensive rebound, challenging the shot, blocking the shot, or altering the shot. He's been a huge presence in the paint.
19% from the field is FEU as Montfort comes off the screen, misses. But Salva gives Ateneo a fresh shot ball.
The off averages will most likely bring down the free throw percentages of Ateneo in the second quarter. They shot a high of 63% in that first quarter.
Awali faking and shooting. Cervantes, FEU can't seem to buy a basket.
Even those shots at the front of the rim, inalagay na lang eh.
Hulog na.
Wala pa rin.
Let's go to step C.
Now that FEU has a chance to become the champion, Coach Glenn wants to make sure that the opportunity will not slip away. And with all teams having their own strengths and weaknesses, Coach wants his boys to target Ateneo's weakness and to bring them down. It's been a jittery start and a horrible first quarter for the Tamaraos, but they will attempt to control the game by recognizing their opponent's scorers and to stick to their game plan. Speaking of first, this is the first time for Coach Glenn to lead the team in the finals, and it has been a big challenge since they're going against the back-to-back defending champion. The game hasn't been going well, and Coach is angry and disappointed, so as much as possible, he wants his boys to relax and execute properly. Eric and TJ?
Thanks, Steph, for that Samsung courtside update. Turn on tomorrow. How big a factor is it, TJ? The entire roster, straight up to the head coach, first-time finalists.
That's a big thing. I mean, you know, you talk about championship experience. It's one thing to be successful in the finals or they won a big game against LaSalle, but again, they were heavily tested. They went into overtime as compared to Ateneo. They coasted all the way against Adamson. I really think that spelled a bit of a difference here for Ateneo coming into this ballgame with a lot of confidence. I think that erased all of the memories of Ateneo losing twice to FEU in the elimination round.
Oh, it's back to zero for both teams definitely here. Samsung Instant Replay, turn on tomorrow. Justin Chua has been fighting the creases, yung mga openings sa ilalim, and getting fouls from the big men of FEU.
And it's not like he's very small and you can't notice him walking under the basket. It's just that his teammates are doing a great job of penetrating, driving, attracting the defense, getting the help defense, and Justin finds himself wide open under the basket.
And he is the leading scorer of Ateneo, 5 points for Justin Chua. 28-10 ang kalabangan po ng Ateneo over FEU. This is game 1 of the finals of season 73 of the UAAP. Offensive foul on the best player of FEU, Garcia.
A little bit of frustration setting in now on R. Garcia. He knows he has a height advantage against one court, but you don't have to do this. You don't have to dig in your shoulder and a bit of your elbow in with the little guy in one foot.
Clearly seen sa ating Samson. It's a replay. Samson turn on tomorrow. Garcia scoreless pa po up until the 7:23 mark of the second quarter. Monfort finds an opening heading. Monfort, the layup and the foul from Londu. Everybody getting into the act.
You wonder where is the help defense at the rim for FEU. It's not like they don't have the bigs to do that. Cervantes is on the floor. Earlier, Ramos is there, one of the leading shot blockers of the league. I have not seen aggressive shot blocking attempts by FEU today.
That's our Yakisobra move brought to you by DC Yakisoba. DC Yakisobra Sarap. Number 2 in blocks in the UAAP, DJ, is FEU. Number 1 is UP. And they can't seem to get themselves together defensively. That was a pick and roll. Nainikutan lang sila ni Eman Monfort. Here's our hardcourt heartthrob brought to you by Silverworks. Vote for your ultimate hardcourt heartthrob. Look for Silverworks in Facebook now. Silverworks, wear it proud.
And you know, if you want to dissect that last play again defensively, the problem for FEU, walang communication, they weren't talking. Pag may naiwanan, you have to scream to everybody else to help you at the rim.
As terrible as FEU is defensively, offensively, medyo mananayo na rin. Araneta Garcia finally redeems the Tampa House with his first basket of the game.
And not an easy one at that. A forced shot to break or to beat the shot clock buzzer, getting them to go, but still down by 8 big points.
FEU gets a stop here.
You got to get the composure back. FEU looks really shell-shocked with the way that Ateneo started so strong.
Cervantes attacking. Too strong, but there's an Ateneo foul.
You know, Coach Len had said the right words, as Stephanie was telling us. He wants them to focus again on the game, get their heads back in the game. Because more than that, more than remembering the specifics, the X's and the O's and the matchups, whatever, get their composure there.
Samson gets a 3-play. Samson turn on tomorrow. Yung saksak itong si Real Cervantes. And this is what FEU needs to do, DJ. Hindi kayo makapuntos, get yourselves to the free throw line.
Yep, you can't get your basket from the field. You're not shooting well from the outside nor from the layups inside. Try to fish those fouls and try to get your groove from the free throw line.
All of the points of Cervantes coming from the line. 6 for 6 at the line of Cervantes.
Still, even in the second quarter, Eric, FEU is 1 out of 8 from the field, a miserable 12% from the floor.
And that's coming from the team with the best field goal shooting in the entire league.
That's right. That's right.
Chua is money today. 7 points na, DJ, for Justin Chua.
Can you believe that? I mean, that's not his game. He's more of a great mid-range shooter, but faking 2 of the toughest big men in the league, Cervantes and Londu, and getting the shot over them.
The Blue Eagles really stepping up today. Cervantes taking out Londu from outside.
And that is what Ateneo is giving them. Remember, we talked about this at the start of the coverage, Eric. In the 2 games that they played, FEU had a high 3-point percentage because those are the shots that Ateneo allows them. They want to close down the inside. They want to disallow the post-up to the drives. So the outside shots will be available for FEU. Question is, can they make them?
So far, they haven't. Buenofeng in and out on the big 3. Enter na naman Ateneo, fresh shot clock because they all are in the right position after a shot is launched by a Blue Eagle.
They're spaced out very well offensively, so when the ball bounces off the rim, there's a good chance that it's going to bounce near an Ateneo player.
FEU looking confused today here, and Garcia, a silly tiki-tack foul against Buenofeng.
Parang silang boxer na na-knock down sa first round na hindi inaasahan. No? Hinuwi. firepower to come so quickly and so strong in that first salvo.
And here's that move na sinasabi mo, TJ, about Justin Chua. Solmix insta-cool, very high performance in the quarter. Solmix 2-tap with insta-cool half relief. And field goals, DJ. Ibang classic Ateneo right now.
52% of the floor by the Blue Eagles as compared to 16% only for the Tamaraos. We're talking about whole game numbers right now. Earlier I mentioned the second quarter numbers alone.
And Buenafe gets a steal against FEU. Again, in the second quarter, everything going right for Ateneo.
And everything that can go wrong for FEU seems to be going wrong so far. Turnover number 7. That one was for FEU. Look at this. 1 against 4 in the paint for the rebound play. And Nico Salva jumps over all the yellow shirts.
34-14 as this is now the biggest lead of Ateneo. 20 points, ladies and gentlemen, for the back-to-back defending champions.
And there you go. That's the R.R. Garcia that the whole UAAP knows and knows so well how he can take over.
KFC Snack Box hardcore fan of the game. Watch out for the winning school. You get 3 days of free KFC chicken meals. Clear man precision stop by Buenafe as he takes it away against FEU's offense. Clear anti-damage shampoo's high precision stop of the game. R.R. Garcia completes a 3-point play. He has 5 points, all scored in the second quarter.
You know, the challenge mentally right now for the Tamaraos, Eric, nalimutan nila yung first quarter. They have to completely forget what happened. Do not look at the scoreboard. Play each play one at a time.
And I guess, now that you said it, I guess they can forget about the second quarter as well.
Maybe, yeah, with 3:44 to go.
One of the rare miscues of Ateneo as a traveling infraction was committed by Salva. Powerade hyperplay in the quarter to get back on defense. First of all on offense, step up your game with Powerade. Yun yung coverage na sinasabi mo, spacing by Ateneo. Layup by Montfort, malayo. Salva right behind for the finish.
Exactly. So boxing out, FEU not doing a great job today so far.
Sana. Sana so far missing all of his attempts from the field. Ngayong hapon, still scoreless. Is the only graduating player of FEU.
Remember, he was the hero against LaSalle, getting them into overtime. Oh, easy. And that's it, Eric. Look at that. Justin Chua. Good Lord, he's 6'6". How can you not spot the guy?
9 points DJ for Justin Chua. And it's like Ateneo is shooting warm-up layups against FEU.
He is. Those are warm-up layups. Nobody's guarding it. If I were Justin Chua, I'd feel insulted. I'll have to make defense happening.
36-17. Ateneo timeout from Samson. Turn on tomorrow. The FEU crowd stunned here, DJ, as it seems FEU newcomers to the finals. For these guys, this batch, they're wilting under the pressure against or from the back-to-back defending champions.
You know, it's not expected at all, especially with the way FEU has been playing all year long. Sinabi nga natin, Ateneo pa nga, with a 10-4 record, they have been the ones who have had a hard time closing out close ball games. But FEU with a record of 12-2, battle-tested in tight games and even overtime games. They're the ones who are really looking at total newcomers today. And another easy, fast break for Ateneo. Chalk it up, 2 more points.
38-17, 21-point lead, the biggest lead for Ateneo. And let's remember, ladies and gentlemen, that the game one winner of a best-of-3 finals usually wins 75% of the time.
12 out of the last 16 championship series, 12 out of the last 16 championship series, the game one winner has gone on to win the finals. Look at this, Justin Chua walking in the park, ginawang luneta ang Big Dome.
PS Bank maasahan assist, sobrang bilis na may prime rebate pa. PS Bank home loan and that Cornetto fast break. Sarap ng fast break. Parang select na Cornetto, sarap ng 20 by Kirk Long. 11, make that 12 assists for Ateneo. 0 DJ for FEU.
That's a big stat right there. And FEU is known to be a team who likes to move the ball around as well and share the love and get a lot of players involved in the scoring.
But don't get us wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Ateneo, only 5 championships in the UAAP. FEU, storied with 19. That's right. But right now, FEU looks like the fans as Ateneo taking them to school. There is the first basket by Aldrich Ramos.
There's the answer there by Ramos. His first way of showing his presence felt on either side of the floor. Not even a shot clock on the other hand yet for Aldrich Ramos, one of the best big men in the UAAP this year.
Salamat. Let's double team. Puts it up. Air ball for Salamat, who is looking for a foul.
Well, that's the defense that FEU has to do when Ateneo wants to post them up. Stay home, one-on-one. Do not help defense.
Rodney missing on the post-up attempt. Turned long on the break. Gets fouled by the rookie Romeo.
And those are the kind of shot attempts that are kind of unforgivable for a coach. The guy is dribbling all the way. If you don't stop him from getting to the lane, he still gets straight to the basket.
PS Bank maasahang assist as Garcia finds Ramos. Sobrang bilis na may prime rebate pa PS Bank home road. Doug Cracker, former Blue Eagle, is our Appleton Healthy Body to Increase Body Mass winner today.
I'm looking at Coach Ben, Eric, and he is fuming mad at his players. One critical aspect of this series right now, and I see FEU leading badly, is a good assistant coach who can be the calm guy. The head coach will be the he'll have the reflexes of screaming and getting mad. But if you have a veteran assistant coach who is calm and will be able to give the instructions, the good follow-up instructions, great teams have great coaching staffs, not just a great head coach, and great coaching staffs. Ateneo has proven that the last 2 years with the way Coach Norman has had support from his coaching staff.
If that was fuming for you, PJ, I'd hate to see how he explodes
In the dugout. Yep, in
right?
the next 29 seconds. Exactly.
Because if that were USD head coach Pido Harencio, you'd see him react real time during the game time. Ramos, nowhere to go, Nondu brings it outside. 12-footer is good.
Even the points that FEU is getting, the few that they're getting, they're looking at scrap points. They're not getting them off of execution that they really want those shots off that play. Hindi ganun eh.
Mga broken plays.
Yeah, mga broken plays na they're kicking the ball out and it's not really exactly what they grew up.
Foul committed by Nondu on this show against Montfort on our Samsung Insta 3-play Samsung turn on tomorrow. So Montfort goes to the free throw line, pretty steady free throw shooter. Itong si Eman Montfort, fourth leading scorer of Ateneo, averaging 8.8 points a game.
And remember, Eman Montfort had that humongous ball game in the Final Four against Adamson. He had 22 points. Shot 6 3-pointers in that ball game. He was 6 for 7. He was perfect for quite a long stretch at 4 out of 4 or even 5 out of 5. And he did so many little things for Ateneo to win that ball game against Adamson in the Final Four.
4 seconds for FEU. Silly foul by Adam there.
Indeed, because they are in the penalty. Are they? Oh, they're not. Okay, they're not yet. I'm looking at Ateneo. I see. Oh, I'm looking at them. 17 fouls for the whole half. All right. But they only have 14 fouls in the quarter. Yeah, they had a foul to give.
RR didn't have much place to go. That instance, but on the last heat hole, Garcia missing from the outside. That's been the story of FEU so far.
Take a pick, Eric, how to describe this first half. Doble o kalahati?
42-21 score update brought to you by KFC UAAP Snack Box. Watch out for the announcement of the winning school who will get 3 days of free KFC chicken.
Back to game 1 of the finals of the UAAP here on ABS-CBN Channel 2. You're watching the Blue Babble Battalion to be followed by the FEU cheering squad, and this halftime performance is brought to you by Samsung Turn On Tomorrow.
hapon po, live tayo sa ABS-CBN Channel 2 and on Balls HD Channel 167 at the half in Game 1 of this best-of-3 finals in Season 73 of the UAAP. Back-to-back defending champions Ateneo 42 and FPU with 21, and it's been all Ateneo so far in the first 20 minutes, and as both teams take a break, so can you have McDonald's delivered right to your doorstep. And it showed very early, DJ, yung magiging rookies nitong FPU in the finals as the pressure got to them. Coupled with, nasabi mo nga, Ateneo just punching it through.
You know, it was a combination of things na maagang inupakan ng Ateneo. You know, in the first 4 or 5 minutes, they went really aggressive, really hard, and they pounced upon the nervousness of FPU being first-timers in the finals. You can see it in the stats right here. Every category absolutely dominated by the Eagles. 49% shooting from the field as compared to only 22% for the Tamaraos. Assists, 12-2. Fast break points, may I add, at will. Fast breaks at will, 13-0. And then bench points, we did mention at the 3-minute mark of the first quarter, a totally new 5 was on the floor already for Coach Norman Black. 18 bench points as compared to only 2 for the Tamaraos. Coach Norman showing much more confidence he has in his bench. Coach Glenn, nangangapa sa dilim ngayon. Very angry, very frustrated. Everything they prepared for not going their way right now. I do not want to be in the dugout of FEU, but hopefully for the Tamaraw fans, it will bear good fruit in the second half.
We have the third quarter coming up right after the Ateneo crowd dito sa Araneta Coliseum treated to an almost perfect display of basketball in the last 20 minutes by the Blue Eagles.
Incredible. I'm running out of adjectives to describe what's going on great for Ateneo and what has gone horrible for FEU. But to boil it down, in the second half, it's going to be a mental game for both squads. Ateneo, mental because they should not be overconfident. For FEU, they got to forget everything that happened in the first 20 minutes and start from scratch.
Here's our close-up couple of the game. The closer, the better. Enzo and Crystal, if I'm not mistaken, from Ateneo. Beautiful looking couple enjoying Game 1 of this best-of-3 between Ateneo and FEU.
I'm looking at FEU right now, Eric. They're sitting on their bench. They were huddled together as players without a single member of the coaching staff on the floor. Now, when sila lumabas, Coach Glenn is still in the dugout with the rest of his assistant coaches trying to map things out, I guess. But looks like they're challenging the players to pull themselves out of this hole that they themselves dug into.
Hardworking pep squad of FEU. Hanes, cool school cheer. Hanes, America's leading underwear brand.
This, Eric, is the lowest halftime output we have seen in a championship series in the UAAP since 2003. The closest to this was in 2008 in an Ateneo LaSalle finals, wherein LaSalle was held down to 26 points, but the final score was 62-51. So even an unclear second half performance then by LaSalle, they only scored 25 points in the second half.
The pep talk pre-game by Jonathan Barrientos has not, well, it seems to me, hindi na-inspired ng FEU. And let's see here in the second half kung yung pep talk ni Coach Glenn capacities mo kailangan nila para bumangon.
Whatever kind of talk it was, loud, quiet, what have you, something's got to give for FEU. Something's got to work for them.
KFC Snack Box Hardcore Fan of the Game. Watch out for the winning school to get 3 days of free KFC chicken meals. Salva. Cross first plug. Here in the third quarter.
If you look at the starting 5 of the Tamaraos here in the second half, we're seeing Mendoza. I know everybody has said from FPU he's a talented rookie but not getting a lot of playing time. First few minutes of the ball game here for him as Coach Glenn is trying to dig deep in his back pocket right now, but an air ball there for Mendoza for his first shot.
And again, leaking outside, Buenafe saves it for Montfort.
Di ba naman yung swerte na saving the ball from out of bounds na pupunta pa rin sa Eagles?
Let's see what happened in the huddle of the Blue Eagles as we listen to Jessica Mendoza.
Eric, defense is still the name of the game for Coach Norman Black. He told the boys to take the next 2 quarters as a challenge and do well on their individual team. He reminded the boys to keep their hands up and to be aggressive in boxing out. The most important thing for Coach Norman, though, is for the Blue Eagles to keep the pace they've set. We can't slow down, he told them, reminding them of previous games where they've let the lead go because of complacency. I keep telling everyone we haven't played our best basketball yet, he said. Now let's go out there and play our best. Eric and TJ.
Thanks, Jessica. Samson Courtside update. Turn on tomorrow. If that's not their best, I know. I'm scared for FEU.
No, if you're FEU, matakot ka na. Kung sinasabi sabi ni Coach Robert Black mismo, hindi pa yan yung the best na magagawa nila. And maybe a little bit more. But defensively, they're doing all that they can. Offensively, maybe they can execute a little bit better and get some other guys some better shot attempts. So look at that. Lucky bounce, lucky rolls, going the way of the Eagles. Still in full command of this ball game by 25 points.
Let's go to step C and find out what happens sa huddle ng Tamaraws.
Well, for the second half, the Tamaraws will try to dictate the game's tempo because they're aware that the Blue Eagles will continue to play aggressively. Like you mentioned a while ago, Eric, everything that could go wrong for the Tamaraws went wrong during those first two quarters. So now the team plans to get back in the game by concentrating, playing honest defense, and stepping up. FEU's assistant coach Lord said, "Dan-dan lang, huwag kayo magkanya-kanya. We have to communicate and play together." In the locker rooms, Coach Glenn was obviously disappointed. He said to the guys, "Yung problema sa atin, puro daldal. Pagdating sa court, wala tayong ginagawa kundi tumira ng tumira." For the rest of this game, he wants the team to stop Ateneo's fast break, play together, and to stay within the system. He wants the Tamaraws to execute because the game plan will not work if they don't do it properly. Eric and TJ.
Thanks for that Samson courtside update. Turn on tomorrow, Steph. You just saw our PS Bank Masa and assist. Sobrang bilis na, may prime rebate pa. PS Bank home loan. And that three-pointer brought to you by Mentos Rainbow because it's better to know what's coming next.
Well, transition defense alone is a big challenge for the Tamaraws. They allowed 13 fast break points by Ateneo in the first half alone. That's a stat we normally see for a game. Eric, and we saw it in 20 minutes for the Blue Eagles.
Down on the floor and in absolute pain is Eman Montfort. Seems to have been hit in the midsection.
Ryan Brennifer trying to explain to the refs that he must have gotten a punch or he argued that he saw the punch. Let's take a look at Montfort here.
And our Samson instant replay. Samson turn on tomorrow.
Heavy elbow there by Mendoza, the rookie, number 12.
And the reaction by the Ateneo crowd, of course, in support of Eman Montfort.
And it was kind of a bit uncalled for. Normally you see that kind of contact when both players are bracing for contact because they're going to hit each other when one is setting the screen and one is a defender running around it. But in that instance, the guy was just walking into his position. Uncalled for there, but not caught by the refs.
Miss by Salva, his first here in the third quarter. 8 points for Nico Salva, 4 in the first half, and 4 here in the third quarter. Garcia against Montfort. Finds Cruz underneath. Cruz off the glass and in.
Beautiful pass by Garcia. Very patient in the post. He knew he had the advantage against Montfort. Posting him up. The help defense was coming for Ateneo, and he found the opening on the other side.
Biggest lead was 26 points here in the third quarter. It's now down to 21. And now, going down this time is Cruz after he bumped into Eman Montfort. Eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Look at this beautiful pass first from R.R. Garcia. A nice fake and a power dribble there by the rookie Cruz to get that basket.
Unilab quality moment of the game. Trusted quality healthcare. Cruz is still on the floor.
Well, we'll see if we can catch that on our replay. If we get a good angle on what kind of contact caused this for Cruz to go down to the court. Vincent Payne.
Training staff now already on the floor.
There's Cruz. Cruz is number 4.
There it is. Mangal with Montfort.
Was it the shoulder or was it the left arm after the contact?
It's tough to say.
Even if it's a mild hit, if it hits the weakest spot, what do they call it? The bread basket?
Somebody's sternum.
That's very sensitive.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's very sensitive.
You get winded up.
Yes, you can.
That was seen in our Samson instant replay. Samson turn on tomorrow. The FE crowd, of course, reacting in support naman of Cruz. Ateneo firing blanks from the outside here in the third quarter.
R.R. wants the ball. He was waving it down already, telling his teammates to be aggressive offensively.
Garcia again on the post against Montfort. Off the glass. The triplet attempt by Brillas. No good. Montfort chasing down the lead pass. Eda powers his way inside. Picks up a Tamaraw foul.
You see, that's what gets you. If you run the ball quickly, even though you don't get the score, sometimes you might get the secondary break. It might open up for you. As Montfort had to chase the ball down. Eram was one of the guys on the secondary break. As a trailer, found himself wide open in the paint. Picks up the foul, goes to the free throw line.
Samsung instant replay. Samsung turn on tomorrow. Eram 4 points scored in the first quarter. Has yet to put up numbers. Romeo has only 2 points in the game. And this kid averages 8.3 points a game.
And coming off the last time they played Ateneo, he was the hero of the ball game. 15 points and 10 rebounds, although 11 of those points came in the fourth quarter.
It's Rodel and Garcia on the backcourt along with Cruz, Bringas, and Ramos in the front line for the Tamaraos. FEU looking for their first championship since 2005. Mendoza with a traveling violation.
Travel on the rookie here. And Ryan Reddiff trying to play to his head right now, applauding the mistake of Mendoza.
Timeout brought to you by Samsung. Turn on tomorrow. Ateneo displaying championship-type confidence against finals newcomers FEU here in the third quarter, DJ.
That's one of the best ways to describe it. They are really showing the championship poise, confidence, experience cannot be taught. You have to earn it.
51-28 is the score in favor of Ateneo. They've been in full control. FEU hindi pa po lumalamang at all dito sa game na to. And Similiano underneath gets clobbered. Bringas will try again. Ramos on the third attempt for the Tamaraos, he puts it in.
Well, that's some good signs for them that they're getting to crash the offensive boards and getting second and third opportunities. But defensively, still a problem. They've traded baskets so far with Ateneo in this quarter. You can't just do that if you want to come back in the game.
Rare miscue, Benefit looking for Salva, couldn't find him. Solmich insta-cool play, high performance of the quarter. Solmich two-town with insta-cool pop relief. Salamat just zigzagging his way inside the defense of FEU. Exiliano. Garcia on the catch and shoot. Quick whistle as there is a foul on FEU. PS Bank strong power moves on the finish na may prime DJ foul. PS Bank home loan. Ramos with his fourth point of the game.
Many times we've seen Alex Ramos dominate ball games on both ends of the floor with his size, his basketball smarts, and his just ability to dominate the paint defensively. Today we have not seen even a shadow of that kind of Alex Ramos.
Averaging 11.3 points a game is Ramos. Aram has been pretty active on the floor.
Remember, Ramos even was in the top 3 of the MVP candidates this year. He's one of the 3 best players of the UAAP this year.
Long, 11 on the shot clock. Taken away by R.R. Garcia. Great transition defense though by Ateneo. Exiliano cuts across the lane. Bringas forces his way inside and picks up a foul from Aram.
Well, lucky to get that foul off Aram, but Aram still just keeping his hands up, even though he picked up the foul there, challenging every single shot that comes his way. That's the opposite of what you're seeing for FEU. You don't see a big man of FEU doing what Aram is doing today. He's giving up his body, challenging everything.
16,800 strong inside the Araneta Coliseum. Sold out since, if I'm not mistaken, Wednesday. Take a look at the crowd. FEU side, though, very quiet since that early part of the first quarter. 16,834, if I'm not mistaken, is the number you saw at top of your TV screens. For the first time po sa ABS-CBN Channel 2 on Game 1 of the UAAP Finals. Salamat rattles it in. Taking the tough shot.
Even the tough shots are dropping for Ateneo. They're getting the breaks.
Everything going right for the back-to-back defending champs. Under 4 minutes to play in the third. 9 on the shot clock. Romeo for 3. Yes. 5 points for Romeo.
We're going to need more of that. I mean, in the second half, you're seeing much better execution offensively for them. 5 of 11 from the field for the Tamaraos for 45%. But they've got to make the stops. They've got to become more aggressive defensively and force some miscues of the Eagles.
Salamat finds a way to launch him, but under heavy traffic. Defense of FEU, PJ picking up in the third quarter.
A little bit, but they got to do much more and be consistent with it the whole half.
Drop pass by Romeo to Exiliano. FEU starting to get on a roll.
They're down by 18 now. Remember, they did start the quarter down by 21, but it didn't go as high as
26.
26, yeah.
Eram finds Chua underneath. Fouled by Bringas.
Well, make him earn it. Make him earn it from the free throw line. Not like first half. He had three of those uncontested in the first half.
Timeout from Samsung. Turn on tomorrow. Game 1 of the finals of the UAAP Season 73 dito po sa Araneta Coliseum. 53-35. Ateneo with the lead over FEU. Justin Chua has been pretty active on the floor. 9 points for Chua at the end of the first half. Axe man of the game. Ladies just can't get enough of Drew Copuyo from Ateneo, our axe man of the game. One of the key guys for the Blue Eagles, Justin Chua, who's found many openings underneath the basket. Easy layups in the first half.
It's been too easy for Justin Chua. I mean, he hasn't even been challenged to really play his game, wherein he likes to spot up 15 feet away from the basket in the baseline or at the elbow to get those kick-out passes and be the guy to drill the mid-range shot.
And it's very surprising to see Ateneo this confident, this good, when in fact they lost 3 key guys coming into this season.
And also, losing the 2 matchups they had against FEU this year so far.
And while FEU have roster intact since last season.
Only lost 1 guy, really, Mark Baroka, who technically
Was lost in the second half anyway.
not going to even be eligible this year, but we can't blame FEU for having to make adjustments this year. It's Ateneo having to make some major adjustments, and they've adjusted so far. And it's just really, if you look at it, going back to the Final Four even, Ateneo has stepped up their game. The way they dominated against Adamson was a step up already. The way FEU struggled against LaSalle, it was not a clear step up to the next level.
Very true. Clear and precision stop. Clear and Gandalf Champions high precision stop the game. And that shot by Salamat Yakisobra. Move! Brought to you by Nisi Yakisoba. Nisi Yakisobra. Sarap. 8 on the shot clock. Cervantes. Wild. But the tip in either by Ramos or Exiliano. You take your pick.
Take your pick. 2 pointers, 2 points. They'll take that. Lead down to 18 now with a minute 27 to go in the third quarter.
It's the lowest the lead of Ateneo has ever been here in the third quarter. 1 point for 3. Yes!
At pa, ito siguro sinasabi ni Coach Norman, we're not yet playing our best. Their hero in the Final Four, who had 6 3-pointers and scored 22 points, has yet to make noise from beyond the arc. And now that Iloilo native just says, may hapon din sa inyong tanan sa Iloilo.
42.4% from beyond the arc is Eman Monfort. That 3 attempt by Romeo rattles out. Under a minute remaining in the third quarter, and the chance of goal. Ateneo ringing loudly inside the Araneta Coliseum. That would have driven the Ateneo crowd wild if Monfort got that in. Was the layup almost for Cervantes, the foul from behind from Pernoir. You see the unit done. Here is our Powerade Hyper Player of the quarter. Get back on defense, push the ball on offense, step up your game with Powerade. Mentos 3-point shot by Monfort from Mentos Rainbow, because it's better to know what's coming next.
So many weapons for Ateneo. Many of their wins, we've seen different guys step up and become heroes for the Eagles. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. Coach Norman likes it to his advantage that it's difficult to stop them. On the other end, some critics say it shows their weakness of lacking a go-to guy, a clear, clutch go-to guy in the close games. Hence their record of only 3 and 4 in games that were decided by 4 points or less.
Gonzaga checks in for Ryan Buenafe, and Hotel will replace R.R. Garcia. Jack and Jill Fantastic Moments, brought to you by Jack and Jill Snacks. Life's fun for the Ateneo crowd, definitely. It's been all Blue Eagles until the they've got 40.5 mark, or second mark, in the third quarter.
FEU scoring much better here in this third quarter, but defensively, nothing great. There's been a little bit of some headway, but look, Ateneo still dominated by 22 points, possibly 23. After Justin Chua, another great play of good movement without the ball.
Another great execution by Salamat. And Justin Chua just hammering the points in. Alaksan FR Arayco, galing ko, shot of the game by Chua. Alaksan FR Arayco, galing ko, and Chua with 13 points in the game, TJ. Ateneo gets the last crack at the basket, courtesy of, again, good rebounding. 6 on the shot clock and game clock. Salamat dribbled way too much. Nudel in the final seconds couldn't get it to fall.
Well, they scored much better, but they still end up with a point down from what they began this third quarter with Ateneo with a ginormous 22-point lead.
60-38 Ateneo over FEU. Score update brought to you by KFC UAAP Snack Box. Watch out for the announcement of the winning school who will get 3 days of free KFC chicken. Fourth quarter about to get underway dito sa Araneta Coliseum. And if FEU can't sort themselves out in the last 10 minutes, magkakatotoo yung sinisigaw ng Cubao battalion member dito sa likod natin na magkita-kita na tayo sa bonfire.
That's how confident even the crowd is as you look at the quarter scoring. Miserable first quarter for the Tamaraos, 8 points and only 13 in the second quarter. That's why they built up that lead. Oh, still up at 20.
Watch out who will be our PS Bank Maasahan Player of the Season on September 30. That's this Thursday during the UAAP Awards at 2:30 in the afternoon. 38 points, TJ, of FEU is the lowest score after 3 quarters in the finals.
Since 2003. Previous low was actually 2003. Held by Ateneo at 39 points.
Against FEU, so they're returning the favor, sort of. Let's go to Jessica Mendoza.
Eric, it's gotten pretty nasty out there, but the Ateneo coaching staff insists that the boys keep their cool. Huwag tayo mapipikon, don't give them a reason to fight back, let's just play good basketball, we were told. Now, other reminders for the Blue Eagles for this final quarter, talk to each other, huwag mapapagod at dagdagan pa ang defense. Now, before the huddle broke, Coach Norman added, let's not let RR get going. Eric and TJ.
Thanks, Jessica. Samson courtside update turn on tomorrow. RR not started in the fourth quarter.
And good recognition there by Coach Norman back in the coaching staff. They know very well how RR can just dominate at will to turn it on.
Samsung instant replay. Samsung turn on tomorrow. Romeo trying to turn it on para sa Tamaraos ngayong hapon na to. But so far, to no avail. Cervantes against Golia. It's been that kind of afternoon.
And you know, one thing that we mentioned at the beginning of the coverage that actually Jessica told us about the strategy for the big men of Ateneo is to avoid foul trouble because they're lacking one key guy. Wala nga si Jumbo Escueta serving a suspension after racking up 2 unsportsmanlike fouls. And so far, it has not been the case. For Aram, Goya, and Chua, they've been able to really control themselves in terms of the fouls.
Turnover done para kay Cervantes as he lost control along the sidelines. Let's go to Steph C.
No final game is ever an easy match. So from the very beginning, the Tamaraos already anticipated this challenge. And with one last quarter left, the Tamaraos still hope that they will attempt to take the lead. Having a lot of maturity and experience, the Tamaraos believe that it's still possible to conquer this match because the game isn't over until the final buzzer beats. Coach Ben knows that he has a lot of talented players, so he expects them to step up in the final stretches. During the huddle, Coach told his boys to sustain their energy and, of course, to stick to their game plan. So for this final quarter, the Tamaraos will do their best to score a lot of baskets and to stop Ateneo's fast break. Eric and TJ.
Thanks, Steph. Samsung courtside update turn on tomorrow. Who will be our Jollibee champ of the season? Find out September 30, Thursday, sa ating UAAP Awards, 2:30 p.m. Romeo being aggressive, just short. Gonzaga behind the back dribble. Austria just scored a basket earlier, looking to attack. This time around, too aggressive. Offensive foul.
FEU has not scored, Eric, in the last 2 minutes and 5 seconds of this fourth quarter, considering the fact that their highest output in any quarter this game has been 18 points in the third quarter. And they started this quarter down 22. You do the math. How difficult it will be if they do want to mount a comeback and win this ballgame.
You just saw our Yakisobrang move brought to you by Nissin Yakisoba. Nissin Yakisobrang sarap. Coach Glenn Capasio furiously shuffling his guys, looking for the right combo. Already 2 minutes plus gone by dito sa ating fourth quarter. Does he have ample time, DJ, to mount a solid comeback?
It's going to take a bit of a miracle. Let's put it that way. You're going to have one of those kind of runs, like a 20-2 run, something like that. We've seen those though in the UAAP. That's going to happen, yeah.
And that could be the start. A shot from the outside by Garcia. That's a second three-point shot. 11 for Garcia.
Still though, a big 21-point deficit staring them in the face. Ateneo just has to play smart. Use the clock, don't turn the ball over.
Long from the outside. There's a stop that FEU badly needs. Garcia looking for an opening. Opening the defense of Ateneo. Romeo. Right on the shot clock. Para sa Cubao. Ramos, long two.
Good defensive rebound there by Golia. Only Houston, the only big man there, it's a two defenders or rebounders for FEU.
Ateneo showing why they're number 2 in rebounds sa Liga this season. FEU number 3. Long is bothered by Romeo. Gives it up. Austria finds an opening. Austria! 4 points here in the fourth quarter. 8 all in all.
Even the role players who come in for limited minutes for Coach Norman Lack have been responding and performing in both ends of the court.
High screen being put up by Cruz. Garcia doesn't use it. Nondu from the outside. Goes inside the paint. Not even close on that attempt. 6:01 remaining sa ating fourth quarter. Much taller Romeo on Montfort. Eman finds an opening. And the smallest guy on the court contributing for Ateneo, making mincemeat of the defense of FEU.
Just dissecting it at will, like a hot knife on butter. Parting of the yellow sea, name it what you want. It's just been looking too easy for the Eagles today.
9 points for Montfort as Romeo knocks in another 3. 8 points now for Terrence Romeo.
If you do the math, it's really, really, really difficult for FEU to still come back and win this ballgame. But one thing they want to gain back is have a respectable outcome. Don't be beaten in game 1 by a 20-point blowout. At least manage it, even in single digits. Game of 9 points or 8 points or probably 12, something like that, but not 20 points.
3-point shot by Garcia, brought to you by Mentos Rainbow, because it's better to know what's coming next. And Austria has been pouring into points. That's our Powerade Hyper Play of the quarter. Get back on defense, push the ball on offense, step up your game with Powerade. And getting into the act here in the fourth quarter, Eman Montfort, Solmiak's Insta-Cool play, high performance of the quarter. Solmiak's 2-tap with Insta-Cool cock relief. Crowd getting ready to erupt on that 3-pointer from the corner by Montfort. That didn't go. Halfway to go dito sa ating fourth quarter. Nondu posting up on Golia. Out to Kawali, who has seen limited minutes after being inserted into the starting lineup by FEU. KFC Snack Box Hardcore fan of the game. Watch out for the winning school to get 3 days of free KFC chicken meals. I'd be cheering like that if I get free chicken meals, right? Now, who will be chosen as our Appleton Most Improved Player of the Season? The day of the UAAP Awards, September 30, Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Don't miss it. One for 3 at the line is Kawali. Make that 1 for 4. Tip and attempt. Bringas gets back his own miss. Bringas blocked from behind. It stays with FEU with 21 on the shot clock. 66-45 in favor of Ateneo. For those of you listening sa ating AM broadcast,
I'm looking at the stats, Eric. I'm seeing the starters of FEU beginning to catch up with their average numbers in terms of points. Guys like Garcia, Romeo, and Ramos and Cervantes. But the bench has really been the big disappointment for FEU. In stark contrast, the bench of Ateneo has really picked up their ball game.
Kirk Long finishes on the break with the help of Evan Monfort. Ateneo crowd really feeling it right now. 4:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. That rattles out for Aldrich Ramos, 68-45. Ateneo. A double foul called here by the officials.
We call them Adam and Kawali. It looked to me, giving some nice elbows to each other at the post.
Cornero fast break. Sarap yung fast break na yun. Parang select na Cornero. Sarap ng 20. Long finishing with the left. 4 personal fouls on Adam. That's going to be crucial for Black. He might not have the services of Adam towards the end of this game if Adam's not careful. But is the point moot already, DJ? Well, we'll find out when we come back. 3:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. Ateneo 68, FEU 45. And Adam fouls out of the ball game.
Just as you mentioned, Eric, they had to return it for the end of the game, but they're up by 23 big points still.
Our rebound brought to you by Magnolia, pure fresh low-fat milk. Drink your Magnolia milk. But at this point, DJ, is it moot already for Coach Solon Black to lose one of his best blocks?
Yeah, as long as they play smart, as long as they play the clock, use up every single second of the clock as much as possible. Just do the math. It's impossible for FEU to still come back and win this ball game. They can come back and get a respectable lead down to have this final score, something more decent to look at when they wake up tomorrow and they look at the papers, you know. But still, Ateneo snapped their dominance today as the more experienced team. Championship experience is a major factor that I guess a lot of people, even us, even we, kind of overlooked that part. We looked at what was happening this year. We looked at how FEU did as individuals this year and expected them to really continue on. And we were all shocked with the kind of performance that the Eagles brought on today.
Striking performance since, and we'd like to tell you again that Ateneo lost key players, Baclao, Husseini, and Jaireas coming into the season. And they also lost to FEU in the first 2 meetings, although not by much. 3 points, 2 points in the first and second round in the eliminations.
Exactly. As we've always said, ball games can be won or lost in the span of 2-3 minutes. The first 2-3 minutes of this ball game, I think, was a loss already for FEU.
Very critical. We just saw our Samson Isn't going to play Samson turn on tomorrow. Ateneo just blew the game wide open in the first 2-3 minutes, and FEU never recovered from there. Dribbling violation against Ryan Buenafit with 2:33 remaining. It's a 70-47 advantage for the Blue Eagles.
I mean, if you ask Coach Norman Black, I don't think they would have expected to beat FEU this way and do it the whole game. And maybe have a great stretch and lead big in a certain period of the game, but I don't think they would have expected to have full dominance all game long.
And it seems like Coach Glenn Capasio is throwing in the towel, DJ, as he has already rested R.R. Garcia, and some of the second stringers are in the ballgame already.
That's right. You got Cruz and Big has 2 rookies on the floor right now. You got another. You got to pick up the lineup sheet right now. If you're looking at number 9 for FEU, he's Guerrero. There you go.
And a round of applause for the Blue Eagles who have stepped out already. Salamat will check out for the final time in this game. As these will be garbage minutes, I guess, for both teams. Last 2 minutes brought to you by PS Bank Self-Reminiscence and PS Bank Home Loan. Usually the most crucial time of the game, but for Ateneo and the crowd, upon the announcement of the last 2 minutes, they just erupted in cheers. Buenafit swarmed by 4 defenders. Salva, the big, and it goes in. Salva with 10 points, 14 for Kirk Long, and 13 for Justin Chua. Those are your double-digit leading scorers for Ateneo. While for FEU, no player except for R.R. Garcia in double digits. That's 11.
You one side note for the Ateneo fans, and in particular if you're a Eric Salamat fan, the last 2 years he's kind of disappeared in the final series. He's had good averages. In 2008 he averaged about 8 points a ball game. He went down to 2 points a ball game in the final series. Last year he averaged 11 points a ball game, then he also went down to around 2 points a ball game in the final series. Today so far in game 1, pretty good numbers. 8 points and 4 out of 11 from the field for Eric Salamat. That's a good contribution, and also 6 assists. 6 assists for Eric Salamat today for the Blue Eagles.
Wow. Really doing it all for the Blue Eagles. Eric Salamat and the crowd of Ateneo. A round of applause for the Blue Eagles for a job well done this afternoon. Under a minute remaining in the fourth quarter.
And we did say that Ateneo is the #1 defensive team in the league, averaging 62 points a game, only given to their opponents. But in their losses, they've given up 69 points a game against FEU. In those 2 games, they've given up 73 points on average. But today, this is an insane number. Holding down FEU in the finals to 47 points, only 27% field goal shooting.
Rosalva checks out for Arthur Cruz Jr. The starters are now resting, save for Justin Chua and Ryan Buenafe for Ateneo. It's a very surprising performance by FEU, first of all, because Ateneo, you'd expect them to be dominant, you'd expect them to do what they do. But FEU reacted negatively, I guess, to what Ateneo put out on the floor.
Wala silang counter punch as early as the first quarter, and that's what it wrote. That's what that's all she wrote. After that, Ateneo just continued doing what they were doing well, defending well, running at every opportunity, and FEU just had difficult time scoring against the suffocating defense of the Eagles.
El Cervantes averaging 10.9 points a game. No field goals today. 7 points from 7 free throws.
Wow, that's a good thing to point out. I did notice that. I did see he has 7 points, but he is the third leading scorer of the team. He averages about 8 points a ball game, so not so bad in terms of our averages. But you're right, no field goals for El Cervantes. A lot of those shots, sinusubo na rin. He's 0 for 5. For the game, 0 for 4 from 2-point territory. And just one of the many moments of miserable performances for FEU today. They're going to want to forget this ball game, not look at the score sheets, not look at the stats, not look at the newspapers tomorrow, and come to game 2 fresh, wanting to win it twice in a row. They want to come home with a crown.
Despite the lack of Big Ben with the suspension of Jumbo Escueta, did not face Ateneo as they take the win in game 1, 72-49. Score update brought to you by KFC UAAP Snack Box. Watch out for the announcements of the winning school who will get 3 days of free KFC chicken. Babalik po tayo sa Araneta Coliseum live on ABS-CBN Channel 2. Score update or final score brought to you by KFC UAAP Snack Box. Watch out for the announcement of the winning school who will get 3 days of free KFC chicken. 72-49, Ateneo making mincemeat of FEU in game 1 of this best of 3 finals in season 73 of the UAAP, and the Ateneo crowd appreciative of the Blue Eagles' performance here today. Absolutely dominant against one of the favorites to make it to the finals, FEU. And our Farmathon Coach's Choice MVP of the game is Kirk Long, because he delivered the most valuable plays and most importantly, the win.
Well, Kirk Long was perfect from the floor in terms of 2-point territory, 4 out of 4. A lot of those were difficult fast break layups. He was one of those guys who set the tone in terms of their fast break attack, which led to 15 fast break points compared to 0 fast break points for FEU the whole game.
And he is with Jessica Mendoza.
That's right, Eric. Kirk, congratulations, first of all. Did you expect it to be the lead, that is, to be this big?
Well, it's the UAAP finals. You never really know what to expect. But us guys had a great week of practice. We really prepared hard all week, just mentally and physically getting ready for this game. So we came out with our best effort and played with a lot of intensity from the get-go. So I'm not too shocked at how we played.
Well, what spelled the difference in your own performance today against FEU?
Just knowing that this is my 3rd time in the finals and that I have to take more of a leadership role on this year's team. So I just mentally came out just ready to help my team in the biggest way I could, and was just aggressive and played hard defense.
All right, thanks a lot, Kirk. Congratulations again. Magbabalik po kami dito sa ABS-CBN Channel 2 for your UAAP.
Welcome back to the Araneta Coliseum to put the finishing touches dito po sa Game 1 of the finals between Ateneo and FEU. 23-point win for Ateneo, 72-49. Hi everybody, Eric Tipan with TJ Manotok live on ABS-CBN Channel 2 and of course in high definition on Boss HD Channel 167. Now we have Coach Norman Black standing by. Now Coach, congratulations on winning Game 1 first of all. Did you expect it to be this easy to coast this way against one of the better teams in the UAAP?
Of course not. You never go into a game thinking you're going to win by a big margin. We did know that we prepared well for this game. We knew the things we had to do well against FEU if we wanted to win. We had to do a good job on our defensive rebounds because they're a very good offensive rebounding team. And we had to play good perimeter defense, which is what we did today.
Coach, one thing that was very difficult to believe that we were seeing in the first half was your fast breaks running at will. I mean, there were some layups there that were the kind of fast breaks some coaches would say, no, pull back, take it easy. But you seem to have given the green light to your players. Every rebound they get, every steal they get, they have all the go signal to just run at it and go for it. You had 15-0 fast break points.
Well, I learned that a few years ago, TJ, that I wanted my teams to really push the ball on every opportunity. It really takes away pressure defense. Teams don't want to press us because we will attack your defense if you try to press us full court. So we want to run on every opportunity. We lead the league in fast break points. It's really been our game plan for the last 3 or 4 years now.
Coach, you mentioned to us when we visited your practice the other day that you're also preparing yourselves for their tougher big men and more experienced big men like Cervantes and Ramos. Today, Cervantes had 0 field goals, and Ramos was not much of a factor even with his outside shooting. How happy are you with the way your big men performed defensively today and stepped up even with the loss of Escueta and Eram stepping up big?
I'm quite happy with the way that our big men played today, the Ateneo big men played today. But of course, it's only one game, TJ, and it takes 2 games to win this championship series, so we can't get too excited because we know the FEU team will bounce back.
All right, thanks Coach Norman and best of luck in Game 2.
Thank you.
We'll take a break and wrap this up after these. (72-49), Ateneo winning over FEU dominantly here in Game 1 of this best-of-3 finals. And again, let's take a look at the keys to winning para sa FEU. What went wrong? Because in our pregame, we talked about what FEU needed to do, and they were consistent dun sa mga yun. The entire elimination round, all of a sudden, it just crumbled today sa finals.
That's right, Eric. First of all, you looked at the three-point shooting. You mentioned that they are the second-best three-point shooting team in the league. And when they played Ateneo in 2 games in this season so far, they've even stepped it up. They shot 44% from beyond the arc. But today, FEU only shot 26%, 4 out of 15 from beyond the arc. So a big difference there in terms of at least almost 20% in terms of how they performed against Ateneo in the first 2 games in the elimination round. Their starter scoring, they're the best in the league in starter scoring, averaging 43.6 points per ball game. Today, only 37 points combined for the starters. And that's even worse news because that means you only had 12 points from the bench because they finished with 49 points today. Turnovers, they do average 13 turnovers a ball game only, but they did end with 14, but a lot of those were in the first half alone. That's where, when we mentioned that, Eric, that's where it seemed they have lost the game already. I think they had about 10 turnovers in the first half alone, or 9 turnovers in the first half alone, way high for their averages, and that hurt them so much because not only did they turn the ball over, Ateneo took full advantage of all of those and ran at every opportunity.
Dun lumayo ang Ateneo with those 9 first half turnovers by FEU. We'll be back with more post-game analysis after these. Back here at the Big Dome to put the finishing touches to an Ateneo masterpiece, 72-49 against FEU in Game 1 of this best-of-3 finals. And your parting shots, TJ.
Well, as Coach Norman himself said it, this is not what he expected. This is not what people expected. This is not what FEU expected. And what they need to do going into Game 2, as we said, it's a mental thing. You have to forget everything that happened. It's not about, nitpicking what play did not work or what strategy did not work. There's a lot of things, too many things. So you have to start from scratch and prepare as if you're going into another ball game and think of it as one game at a time, even though the pressure is on them now to win both games, to survive and win it all. For Ateneo, they did everything that they did better than probably they could imagine they did. So just keep doing that, and they're going to have to expect that FEU is going to come roaring back in game number 2, and we're going to expect a war in game number 2. I don't expect a blowout myself.
And game number 2 is going to be on Thursday, 2:30 ang ating special awards and UAAP awards as well. That is, of course, your top 5, your MVP, and your Rookie of the Year. That's at 2:30, and at 3:30 p.m. it's Game 2 of the finals. And let's see if FEU can come back after this demolition job done by Ateneo in game number 1. Let's remember, 75% of the time, winners of game 1 go on to win it all. So let's see if FEU can extend it to a game 3 do or die win it all game on Saturday, which will be live on ABS-CBN Channel 2. Coming up next, Pailon Ngayon. And great job by our ABS-CBN sports crew headed by Abed Ramos and Ada Carlos Bayuga. For Jessica Mendoza, Steph C, and my partner TJ Manotok, I'm Eric Kepan. Thanks for watching ang ating coverage ng UAAP Finals on ABS-CBN Channel 2. And of course, in high definition on Balls HD Channel 167. This has been another ABS-CBN Sports presentation. Ateneo wins it against FEU in Game 1.